The world of global trade is always changing. New routes emerge, and old ones are challenged. Recently, a major development has sent ripples across the globe, particularly through the halls of power in the United States. China, a growing economic powerhouse, has announced a massive project, a $50 billion canal intended to rival the Panama Canal. This ambitious undertaking has the potential to revolutionize shipping routes, shift economic influence, and alter the balance of power on the world stage. The Panama Canal, a marvel of engineering when it was completed, has long been a linchpin of global trade. It connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, allowing ships to bypass the lengthy and often treacherous journey around the tip of South America. This vital waterway has facilitated the movement of goods, resources, and people for over a century, shaping the global economy in profound ways. However, the Panama Canal is facing limitations in the 21st century. As ships have grown larger and global trade has expanded, the canal's capacity has been stretched. This has led to congestion, delays, and increased costs for shipping companies. China's proposed canal, with its promise of greater capacity and efficiency, presents a tantalizing alternative. But the implications of this project extend far beyond the realm of logistics and shipping lanes. The Panama Canal stands as a testament to human ingenuity and the transformative power of infrastructure. Its construction was a monumental undertaking, fraught with challenges and setbacks. Yet, when it opened in 1914, it ushered in a new era of global trade, connecting distant markets and facilitating the flow of goods and ideas. The canal's impact on the world has been undeniable, but its legacy is now being re-evaluated in light of China's ambitious plans. For over a century, the Panama Canal has been a symbol of American engineering prowess and a strategic asset for the United States. Its control over this vital waterway has given the U.S. significant influence over global trade and maritime security. However, China's move to build a rival canal directly challenges this long-held dominance. The prospect of a Chinese-controlled canal in Central America has raised concerns in Washington about the potential erosion of U.S. influence in the region and beyond. The Panama Canal's limitations have become increasingly apparent in recent years. Its locks, originally designed to accommodate ships of a certain size, are now struggling to handle the massive container ships and tankers that are the backbone of modern shipping. This has led to calls for expansion, but the costs and logistical challenges of such an undertaking are significant. China's proposed canal, with its larger locks and greater capacity, aims to capitalize on these limitations and position itself as a leader in global shipping infrastructure. China's decision to invest in a massive canal project is a bold strategic move with far-reaching implications. It reflects China's growing economic might and its ambition to reshape the global order. The Belt and Road Initiative, a sprawling infrastructure development program spanning multiple continents, is a testament to China's long-term vision and its willingness to invest heavily in projects that advance its strategic interests. The proposed canal in Nicaragua is a key component of this initiative, aiming to enhance China's access to raw materials, expand its trade routes, and strengthen its ties with Latin America. The potential impact of the new canal on global trade is significant. It could lead to shorter shipping times, reduced transportation costs, and increased trade volumes, particularly between Asia and the Americas. This could benefit businesses and consumers alike, but it could also have disruptive effects on existing trade patterns and supply chains. Countries and companies that rely heavily on the Panama Canal may need to adapt to a new reality, one in which China plays a more prominent role in shaping global trade flows. The United States, long accustomed to being the dominant player in the Western Hemisphere, is closely watching China's moves in Central America. The proposed canal is seen by some as a direct challenge to U.S. influence in the region, potentially giving China a strategic foothold in America's backyard. The U.S. is also concerned about the economic implications of the project, as it could undermine the competitiveness of U.S. ports and shipping companies. The rivalry between the U.S. and China is playing out on multiple fronts, and the canal project is just one example of the high stakes involved. The Panama Canal stands as a testament to human ambition and engineering prowess. Carved through the dense jungles and rugged terrain of Central America, it represents a triumph over formidable obstacles. Its impact on global trade and maritime navigation has been nothing short of transformative, reshaping the world's shipping routes and connecting distant markets in ways that were previously unimaginable. Before its completion in 1914, ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans faced a daunting journey around the southern tip of South America, a perilous voyage through the treacherous waters of the Drake Passage. This lengthy detour added weeks, if not months, to shipping times, significantly increasing costs and risks. The Panama Canal slashed these distances dramatically, reducing travel times and ushering in a new era of global commerce. The canal's construction was a remarkable feat of engineering involving the excavation of millions of cubic meters of earth and rock, the construction of massive locks to raise and lower ships, and the creation of artificial lakes to regulate water levels. Thousands of workers labored for over a decade, facing disease, landslides, and other hazards to complete this monumental project. The economic benefits of the Panama Canal were immediately apparent. By shortening shipping distances, it made it faster and cheaper to transport goods between the Americas, Europe, and Asia. This facilitated the growth of international trade, fostering economic interdependence and connecting distant markets in ways that had never been possible before. The canal's impact extended beyond commerce, influencing geopolitical strategies and military planning. Its strategic importance was quickly recognized by world powers, who understood its value in projecting naval power and controlling vital shipping lanes. The Panama Canal's legacy as a catalyst for global trade and economic growth is undeniable. It has facilitated the movement of billions of tons of cargo, connecting producers and consumers across continents and fueling economic development worldwide. The canal's impact is particularly evident in the Americas, where it has played a pivotal role in fostering trade and investment between North and South America. Countries like Panama, Chile, and Ecuador have benefited significantly from their proximity to this vital shipping route, attracting foreign investment and boosting their economies through increased trade. The canal's influence extends beyond the realm of economics, shaping cultural exchange and fostering diplomatic ties between nations. The constant flow of ships from all corners of the globe has turned Panama into a melting pot of cultures, a vibrant hub where people from different backgrounds interact and exchange ideas. The canal's management has also been a source of national pride for Panama, symbolizing its sovereignty and its role as a key player in global trade. However, the Panama Canal's enduring legacy is not without its complexities. Its construction was marked by political maneuvering, labor disputes, and environmental concerns, raising ethical questions about the human and ecological costs of such ambitious infrastructure projects. The canal's ownership and control have also been points of contention over the years, with Panama eventually gaining full control in 1999 after decades of negotiation with the United States. Despite these challenges, the Panama Canal remains a vital artery of global trade, a symbol of human ingenuity, and the enduring power of infrastructure to connect the world. Despite its enduring significance, the Panama Canal is facing unprecedented challenges in the 21st century. The rise of globalization, coupled with the advent of larger ships and increased trade volumes, has pushed the canal's capacity to its limits. The original locks, designed to accommodate ships of a certain size, are now struggling to handle the massive container ships and tankers that are the backbone of modern shipping. This has led to congestion, delays, and increased costs for shipping companies, raising concerns about the canal's long-term viability as a key player in global trade. The Panama Canal Authority has undertaken expansion projects to address these challenges, but keeping pace with the relentless growth of global trade remains a daunting task. The cost of such expansions is substantial, requiring significant investment and careful planning to ensure minimal disruption to the canal's operations. Furthermore, environmental concerns loom large, as dredging and widening the canal can have significant impacts on surrounding ecosystems. The emergence of alternative shipping routes, such as the Northern Sea route through the Arctic, poses another challenge to Panama's dominance. As climate change melts Arctic ice, this route is becoming increasingly navigable, offering a potentially shorter and cheaper alternative to the Panama Canal for ships traveling between Asia and Europe. While the northern sea route still faces challenges related to ice conditions, infrastructure limitations, and environmental concerns, its potential impact on global shipping routes cannot be ignored. The future of global shipping is inextricably linked to the evolution of key infrastructure projects like the Panama Canal. As the world becomes increasingly interconnected and trade volumes continue to rise, the demand for efficient and reliable shipping routes will only intensify. The Panama Canal, with its strategic location and its long history of facilitating global trade, will undoubtedly remain a vital player in this evolving landscape. However, it must adapt to the changing demands of global shipping, embracing innovation, and addressing capacity constraints to maintain its relevance in a rapidly changing world. The emergence of China's ambitious Belt and Road Initiative, which includes plans for a new canal through Nicaragua, adds another layer of complexity to the future of global shipping. If completed, this new canal could significantly alter shipping routes, potentially diverting traffic away from the Panama Canal and reshaping the geopolitical landscape of global trade. The success of such a project, however, is far from guaranteed, as it faces significant financial, logistical, and environmental hurdles. The competition between these mega-projects is likely to drive innovation and efficiency in the shipping industry, potentially leading to lower costs, faster shipping times, and the development of new technologies to optimize maritime logistics. The environmental impact of these projects, however, remains a significant concern. The construction and operation of massive canals can have far-reaching consequences for surrounding ecosystems, requiring careful planning and mitigation efforts to minimize their ecological footprint. The future of global shipping will depend not only on the construction of new infrastructure, but also on the development of sustainable practices that balance economic growth with environmental responsibility. The idea of connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans through a Central American canal had captivated explorers, engineers, and dreamers for centuries. While the Panama Canal ultimately emerged as the successful endeavor, the pursuit of a Nicaraguan canal has a long and fascinating history, marked by ambition, intrigue, and ultimately, unfulfilled potential. Nicaragua, with its vast Lake Nicaragua and the San Juan River flowing eastward to the Caribbean Sea, presented a seemingly ideal route for such a waterway. As early as the 16th century, Spanish conquistadors recognized the strategic significance of a Nicaraguan canal, envisioning it as a shortcut for transporting gold and silver from their South American colonies to Spain. However, the technological limitations of the time, coupled with the dense jungles and rugged terrain of the region, made such an undertaking prohibitively challenging. The dream of a Nicaraguan canal lay dormant for centuries, only to be rekindled in the 19th century as global trade expanded and the Industrial Revolution fueled the demand for more efficient shipping routes. The United States, with its growing economic and military might, took a keen interest in the possibility of a Nicaraguan canal, recognizing its strategic value in connecting the East Coast to the West Coast and projecting American power into the Pacific. Various surveys and expeditions were conducted throughout the 19th century, assessing the feasibility and potential costs of such a project. However, political instability in Nicaragua, coupled with the daunting engineering challenges and the emergence of competing proposals, including the French effort in Panama, hampered progress. The late 19th century witnessed a dramatic turn of events that would ultimately seal the fate of the Nicaraguan canal dream, at least for the time being. The French, fresh off their success in completing the Suez Canal, turned their attention to Panama, eager to replicate their triumph and establish a dominant presence in global shipping. Led by Ferdinand de Lesseps, the visionary engineer behind the Suez Canal, the French company embarked on the monumental task of carving a canal through the treacherous terrain of Panama. However, the French endeavor was plagued by a series of setbacks, from disease outbreaks that decimated the workforce, to devastating landslides that swallowed entire sections of the canal under construction. The project's costs spiraled out of control, pushing the French company to the brink of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, in the United States, the debate over whether to support a Nicaraguan canal or invest in the struggling French project in Panama intensified. Proponents of the Nicaraguan route argued that it offered a shorter, more strategically advantageous passage, while supporters of the Panama project pointed to the significant progress already made by the French and the potential cost savings of acquiring their existing infrastructure. The U.S. government, swayed by a combination of political maneuvering, economic considerations, and a well-orchestrated lobbying campaign by proponents of the Panama route, ultimately decided to purchase the French assets in Panama, effectively ending Nicaragua's hopes of hosting the transoceanic waterway. Despite the setback of losing out to Panama, the dream of a Nicaraguan canal refused to die. Throughout the 20th century, various proposals and plans were put forward, only to be thwarted by a combination of political instability, financial constraints, and the daunting scale of the undertaking. Nicaragua, often caught in the crosshairs of Cold War rivalries and plagued by internal strife, struggled to attract the massive investment and international support needed to bring such an ambitious project to fruition. The United States, while initially supportive of the Nicaraguan canal concept, grew increasingly wary of the country's political direction, particularly after the Sandinista revolution in 1979. The U.S. government, viewing the Sandinistas as a communist threat in its backyard, imposed economic sanctions and provided support to Contra rebels seeking to overthrow the Sandinista government, further destabilizing the country and making it an unattractive destination for foreign investment. The collapse of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War ushered in a brief period of renewed interest in the Nicaraguan Canal. With the ideological battleground of the Cold War fading, the potential economic benefits of a second transoceanic waterway gained renewed attention. However, the legacy of political instability, coupled with the emergence of new challenges, such as the growing concern over the environmental impact of such mega-projects, continued to cast a long shadow over the Nicaraguan canal dream. The latter half of the 20th century saw some of the most audacious and controversial proposals for a Nicaraguan canal, ranging from the seemingly outlandish to the shrouded in mystery. During the height of the Cold War, the United States, in a testament to its technological ambition and perhaps its hubris, explored the possibility of using nuclear explosions to excavate a canal through Nicaragua. This audacious, albeit short-lived concept, dubbed Operation Plowshare, reflected the prevailing belief in the transformative power of nuclear technology, even for peaceful purposes. However, the potential for radioactive fallout, the immense environmental risks, and the widespread condemnation from the international community quickly relegated the nuclear canal idea to the dustbin of history. More recently, in the 21st century, a new and equally enigmatic figure emerged on the Nicaraguan canal scene: Wang Jing, a Chinese billionaire with a background in telecommunications, but no prior experience in large-scale infrastructure projects. In 2013, Wang's company, HKND Group, signed a secretive deal with the Nicaraguan government, granting it a 50-year concession to build and operate a canal through Nicaragua, with the option for a 50-year renewal. The project, estimated to cost a staggering $50 billion, immediately raised eyebrows, with many questioning Wang's financial capacity, the project's viability, and the potential environmental consequences. Skepticism deepened as details about the project remained scarce, fueling speculation about hidden agendas and Chinese government backing. As of 2024, the project appears to be stalled, with little progress made and Wang Jing's fortune dwindling amidst a Chinese stock market downturn. Whether the Nicaraguan canal dream will ever materialize or whether it will remain a tantalizing yet elusive aspiration remains to be seen. The allure of a second transoceanic waterway, however, continues to captivate the imagination, a testament to the enduring human desire to connect the world and reshape the map of global trade. The Panama Canal, for all its grandeur and historical significance, is facing a growing challenge in the 21st century: the limitations of its size. When it was designed and constructed over a century ago, the canal's locks were built to accommodate the largest ships of that era. These dimensions, now known as Panamax, define the maximum size of vessels that could transit the waterway. While this standard served the shipping industry well for decades, the relentless march of globalization and the pursuit of economies of scale have led to a new generation of massive cargo ships that dwarf their Panamax predecessors. These behemoths of the sea, aptly named Post-Panamax and New Panamax vessels, can carry significantly more cargo than their smaller counterparts, making them highly attractive to shipping companies seeking to maximize efficiency and reduce transportation costs per container. However, their sheer size poses a significant problem for the Panama Canal. The original locks are simply not large enough to accommodate these modern giants, effectively creating a bottleneck in this vital shipping lane. This size constraint has far-reaching implications for global trade. Ships too large for the Panama Canal must either take alternative routes, such as sailing around the tip of South America or utilizing other canals if available, or they must offload a portion of their cargo onto smaller vessels for transit, a process known as transshipment. These workarounds add time, complexity, and cost to shipping operations, reducing the overall efficiency of global trade flows. The Panama Canal Authority, acutely aware of this challenge, undertook a major expansion project, completed in 2016, to increase the canal's capacity and accommodate larger vessels. This expansion, known as the New Panamax expansion, involved the construction of a new set of locks that can handle ships carrying up to 14,000 20-foot equivalent units, TEUs, a standard measure of cargo capacity. While this expansion has provided some breathing room for the shipping industry, the ever-increasing size of cargo ships suggests that the Panama Canal may once again face capacity constraints in the not-too-distant future. The question remains, how long can this vital waterway keep pace with the relentless growth of global trade and the insatiable demand for larger, more efficient cargo ships? The Panama Canal's success as a vital artery of global trade has, ironically, become one of its greatest challenges. As the volume of cargo transiting the waterway has soared over the decades, the canal has experienced increasing levels of congestion, leading to delays and increased costs for shipping companies. The canal's finite capacity, even with the recent expansion, means that ships often face lengthy wait times, sometimes stretching into days, before they can enter the locks and begin their transit. These delays can have ripple effects throughout the global supply chain, disrupting carefully planned schedules, delaying the delivery of goods, and adding unforeseen costs for businesses that rely on timely shipments. The just-in-time inventory systems that have become ubiquitous in modern manufacturing and retail are particularly vulnerable to such disruptions, as even minor delays can cascade through the system, causing production slowdowns or even halts. The congestion at the Panama Canal is not merely an inconvenience, it has tangible economic consequences. Shipping companies, faced with unpredictable wait times, must factor in these potential delays when planning routes and scheduling deliveries. These added costs are often passed along to importers and exporters, ultimately impacting the price of goods for consumers. Moreover, the delays can discourage companies from utilizing the canal altogether, prompting them to seek alternative routes or modes of transportation, even if those options are more expensive or time-consuming. The Panama Canal Authority has implemented various measures to mitigate congestion and improve efficiency, including a reservation system for ships, optimized transit schedules, and investments in technology to streamline operations. However, the fundamental challenge remains: a finite capacity attempting to accommodate a seemingly ever-increasing demand for transit. As global trade continues to expand, finding innovative solutions to address congestion and ensure the smooth flow of goods through the Panama Canal will be crucial to maintaining its competitiveness and its vital role in the global economy. The Panama Canal, while an engineering marvel and a testament to human ingenuity, is not without its environmental impacts. Its construction, operation, and ongoing maintenance all have consequences for the surrounding ecosystems, requiring a delicate balance between economic development and environmental stewardship. The initial excavation of the canal, a monumental undertaking that involved removing millions of cubic meters of earth and rock, significantly altered the natural landscape, disrupting watersheds and impacting biodiversity. The creation of Gatun Lake, a massive artificial lake that forms a key part of the canal's route, inundated vast swaths of rainforest, submerging habitats and displacing wildlife. While Gatun Lake has since become an important ecological zone in its own right, its creation serves as a stark reminder of the environmental trade-offs often associated with large-scale infrastructure projects. The ongoing operation of the canal also presents environmental challenges. The transit of thousands of ships each year, many burning fossil fuels that release greenhouse gases and other pollutants, contributes to air and water pollution. Ballast water discharge, a common practice in shipping to adjust a ship's stability, can introduce invasive species into new environments, disrupting delicate ecological balances. The Panama Canal Authority has implemented various measures to mitigate the environmental impact of the canal, including stricter emissions standards for ships, ballast water management regulations, and reforestation programs to restore degraded areas. However, the canal's continued operation, particularly in the face of increasing traffic, will require ongoing vigilance and innovation to minimize its environmental footprint and ensure the long-term health of the surrounding ecosystems. The Panama Canal, a symbol of human ambition and engineering prowess, is at a crossroads. Its legacy as a vital artery of global trade is secure, but its future hinges on its ability to adapt to a rapidly changing world. The challenges are multifaceted. The relentless growth of global trade and the ever-increasing size of cargo ships are testing the limits of the canal's capacity, while environmental concerns demand a more sustainable approach to its operation and expansion. Meeting these challenges will require a commitment to innovation and a willingness to embrace new technologies and approaches. Investing in research and development to optimize canal operations, enhance efficiency, and reduce environmental impact will be crucial. Exploring alternative energy sources for ships such as liquefied natural gas or even hydrogen fuel cells could significantly reduce emissions and lessen the canal's carbon footprint. Developing and implementing advanced traffic management systems, potentially incorporating artificial intelligence and machine learning, could optimize ship scheduling, reduce congestion, and minimize delays. Prioritizing water conservation measures such as rainwater harvesting and water recycling could lessen the canal's reliance on freshwater resources and reduce its impact on surrounding watersheds. The Panama Canal's future success will depend not only on its physical infrastructure, but also on its ability to adapt, innovate, and embrace sustainability as guiding principles. By embracing a forward-looking approach that balances economic growth with environmental responsibility, the Panama Canal can continue to play a vital role in connecting the world for generations to come. China's interest in the Nicaragua Canal must be seen within the broader context of its ambitious Belt and Road Initiative. Launched in 2013, the BRI is a sprawling network of infrastructure projects spanning multiple continents, intended to enhance connectivity, facilitate trade, and expand China's global influence. The BRI consists of two main components: the Silk Road Economic Belt, focusing on overland routes through Central Asia and into Europe, and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, which aims to establish maritime trade routes linking China to Southeast Asia, Africa, and beyond. The Nicaragua Canal, if completed, would serve as a crucial node in China's Maritime Silk Road, providing a direct shipping route between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans that bypasses the Panama Canal. This would significantly reduce shipping times and costs for Chinese goods destined for markets in the Americas and the East Coast of the United States, enhancing China's competitiveness in these key markets. Moreover, the canal's construction and operation would likely create significant business opportunities for Chinese companies, particularly in areas such as construction, engineering, logistics, and port management. China has a proven track record of leveraging its state-owned enterprises and its vast financial resources to secure lucrative contracts in BRI projects, and the Nicaragua Canal would be no exception. The canal's strategic location in Central America, a region traditionally within the U.S. sphere of influence, adds another layer of geopolitical significance to China's involvement. By establishing a major infrastructure project in Nicaragua, China aims to strengthen its ties with Central American countries, potentially challenging the U.S. long-standing dominance in the region. This move reflects China's growing global ambitions and its willingness to project its influence into new areas, even at the risk of fueling tensions with the United States. Section 2. Securing resources and markets, fueling China's economic engine. China's economic rise has been nothing short of remarkable, transforming the country from a relatively poor agrarian society into a global economic powerhouse in just a few decades. This rapid growth has been fueled by a voracious appetite for raw materials, energy resources, and access to new markets. China's leaders, acutely aware that maintaining this economic momentum is crucial for domestic stability and the Communist Party's grip on power, have pursued a strategy of securing access to vital resources and expanding China's global trade footprint. The Nicaragua Canal aligns perfectly with this strategy. China is a major importer of commodities from Latin America, including oil, soybeans, copper, and iron ore. These resources are essential for fueling China's industrial engine and satisfying the demands of its growing middle class. Currently, much of this trade flows through the Panama Canal, subject to its limitations and potential disruptions. A Chinese-backed canal in Nicaragua would provide China with an alternative route for transporting these vital resources, reducing its dependence on the Panama Canal and enhancing its energy and resource security. Furthermore, the canal would facilitate the export of Chinese-manufactured goods to Latin American markets, fostering economic ties and expanding China's influence in the region. China's approach to securing resources and markets often involves a combination of strategic investments, infrastructure development, and diplomatic engagement. The Nicaragua Canal project exemplifies this multi-pronged approach, seeking to leverage China's economic and financial might to advance its strategic interests and solidify its position as a global power. Section 3. Projecting power and influence. Challenging the U.S. Led Order. China's rise as a global power has been accompanied by a growing assertiveness on the world stage. No longer content with being a passive player in the international system, China is actively seeking to reshape the global order in ways that reflect its interests and values. This ambition has put it on a collision course with the United States, the incumbent superpower that has long dominated the international system. The Nicaragua Canal project is one of many arenas where this rivalry is playing out, with profound implications for the future balance of power. The United States has long viewed Central America as its backyard, a region of strategic importance due to its proximity to the U.S. mainland and its role as a transit corridor for goods and people. China's foray into Nicaragua through the Canal project is seen by some in Washington as a direct challenge to U.S. influence in the region, potentially giving China a strategic foothold in America's backyard. Beyond the immediate regional implications, the Nicaragua Canal project represents a broader shift in the global balance of power. China's willingness to invest heavily in infrastructure projects, often in countries overlooked or underserved by Western institutions, is expanding its influence and challenging the U.S.-led order. This is particularly evident in developing countries, where China's no-strings-attached approach to development assistance, often contrasted with Western demands for political and economic reforms, has resonated with many governments. The competition between China and the United States is not merely about economic or military might, it is also a battle of ideas and narratives. China is actively promoting its model of state-led capitalism and its vision of a multipolar world order, one in which China plays a leading role in shaping global norms and institutions. The Nicaragua Canal project, if successful, would be a tangible manifestation of China's growing influence and a symbolic victory in its quest to reshape the global order. Section 4. A long-term game. Patience, persistence, and strategic calculation. China's strategic thinking is often characterized by a long-term perspective, a willingness to play the long game and make incremental progress towards its goals. This contrasts with the West's often shorter-term focus and its tendency to prioritize immediate results over long-term strategic considerations. The Nicaragua Canal project, with its immense scale, complexity, and geopolitical sensitivities, perfectly embodies China's patient and persistent approach to advancing its interests. The project has faced numerous setbacks and delays, fueled by financial uncertainties, environmental concerns, and political opposition. However, China has shown no signs of abandoning its ambitions in Nicaragua. Instead, it has adopted a wait-and-see approach, allowing the dust to settle from initial controversies and focusing on building relationships and trust with the Nicaraguan government and people. This patient approach reflects China's understanding that major infrastructure projects, particularly those with geopolitical implications, require time, persistence, and a willingness to navigate complex political and economic landscapes. It also highlights China's confidence in its long-term economic trajectory and its belief that time is on its side. While the future of the Nicaragua Canal remains uncertain, China's strategic calculus is clear, securing a key node in its maritime Silk Road, enhancing its access to vital resources, projecting its power and influence, and challenging the U.S. Led Order. Whether or not the canal is ultimately built, China's pursuit of this ambitious project serves as a stark reminder of its growing global ambitions and its determination to reshape the world in the 21st century. The potential completion of a Chinese-backed canal through Nicaragua would send shockwaves through the world of global trade, comparable to the seismic shifts that occurred when the Panama Canal first opened. The impact would be most immediately felt in the realm of shipping routes, as companies adjust to the presence of a new, potentially more efficient pathway for moving goods between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. For over a century, the Panama Canal has reigned supreme, its role as a maritime choke point solidified by geography and reinforced by history. A Nicaraguan canal, however, would disrupt this established order, offering a new route that could shave days if not weeks off transit times for certain shipping lanes. The most direct beneficiaries of this shift would likely be those involved in trade between Asia and the eastern United States currently. Goods manufactured in China or other Asian manufacturing hubs destined for consumers in New York, Miami, or other East Coast ports must navigate the Panama Canal, adding time and cost to the journey. A Nicaraguan canal, situated further north, could provide a more direct route for these shipments, potentially making Asian goods more competitive in these markets. This shift in shipping routes could have cascading effects on port cities and logistics networks. Ports that currently benefit from their position along the Panama Canal route may see their traffic decline, while others, strategically located to take advantage of the new canal, could experience a surge in activity. The competition for traffic could incentivize ports to invest in infrastructure upgrades, expand their capacity, and offer more competitive services to attract shipping companies. The ripple effects would extend beyond the immediate vicinity of the canals themselves, potentially influencing investment decisions, industrial development, and even agricultural production patterns, as businesses adjust to the new realities of global trade routes. The completion of a Nicaraguan canal would not render the Panama Canal obsolete, but it would undoubtedly force a recalibration of global shipping flows, creating both winners and losers in the process. Beyond the immediate impact on shipping routes, the completion of a Chinese-backed canal in Nicaragua would carry profound economic and geopolitical implications, underscoring China's rise as a global power and potentially challenging the United States' long-held dominance in the Western Hemisphere. For China, the canal represents a strategic asset, enhancing its access to vital resources, expanding its trade routes, and bolstering its influence in a region traditionally within the U.S. sphere of influence. The canal would solidify China's role as a major player in global trade, providing it with a level of control over a key maritime choke point that has long eluded it. This influence would translate into economic leverage, as China could potentially influence shipping costs, prioritize access for its own vessels, and exert pressure on countries that rely on the canal for their own trade. The United States, accustomed to being the dominant economic and military power in the Americas, has viewed China's growing presence in the region with a mixture of apprehension and suspicion. The Nicaragua Canal project, seen by some as a direct challenge to U.S. hegemony, has fueled concerns about China's intentions and its potential to undermine U.S. interests. The U.S. response to this challenge has been multifaceted, ranging from diplomatic efforts to counter China's influence in the region to increased military spending, and a renewed focus on strengthening alliances with countries wary of China's growing assertiveness. The economic stakes are high, as a shift in trade routes and influence could impact U.S. businesses, potentially leading to job losses and a decline in economic competitiveness. The Nicaragua Canal project has become a focal point in the broader competition between the U.S. and China, a tangible manifestation of the shifting balance of power in the 21st century. The Nicaragua Canal project highlights the increasingly geopolitical nature of infrastructure development in the 21st century. No longer merely feats of engineering or tools for economic development, large-scale infrastructure projects are now often viewed through the lens of strategic competition, with countries vying for influence, access, and control over these vital arteries of the global economy. China, with its Belt and Road Initiative, has emerged as a leading proponent of this geopolitically driven approach to infrastructure development. The BRI, a sprawling network of roads, railways, ports, and pipelines stretching from East Asia to Europe and Africa, is as much about geopolitics as it is about economics. By investing heavily in infrastructure projects in developing countries, China aims to secure access to resources, open up new markets for its goods, and expand its diplomatic and political influence. The United States, initially dismissive of the BRI as a vanity project, has grown increasingly concerned about its potential to reshape global trade patterns, undermine U.S. alliances, and shift the balance of power in favor of China. The Nicaragua Canal, if completed, would be a major victory for China in this geopolitical chess match, demonstrating its ability to project its influence far beyond its borders and challenge the U.S. in its own backyard. This competition over infrastructure is playing out on a global scale, with countries and regions increasingly caught in the middle. Developing countries, often eager for investment and wary of aligning too closely with either superpower, are finding themselves courted by both sides, each offering its own model of development and its own vision for the future of the global order. Section 4. The Long View: Adapting to a Multipolar World. The potential impact of a Nicaraguan canal on global trade and U.S. influence is a microcosm of the broader shifts underway in the international system. The era of unipolarity, in which the United States reigned supreme after the collapse of the Soviet Union, is giving way to a more multipolar world, characterized by the rise of new centers of power, shifting alliances, and a diffusion of influence. China's growing economic and military might, coupled with its willingness to challenge the existing global order, has emerged as the most significant driver of this transition. The Nicaragua Canal project, with its potential to reshape trade routes, enhance China's influence and challenge U.S. dominance, is a tangible manifestation of this shifting landscape. Adapting to this new reality will require both the United States and China to rethink their strategies, adjust their expectations, and find ways to coexist and cooperate in a world where power is more diffuse and influence is more contested. The United States, long accustomed to setting the rules of the game, will need to adapt to a world in which it is no longer the sole architect of the global order. This will require a more pragmatic approach to foreign policy, a willingness to compromise, and a recognition that other countries, including China, have legitimate interests and aspirations. China, for its part, will need to demonstrate that its rise is not a threat to the international system, but rather an opportunity for greater cooperation and shared prosperity. This will require greater transparency in its dealings, a commitment to international norms and rules, and a willingness to address concerns about its human rights record and its assertive foreign policy. The future of global trade and the shape of the international system will depend in no small part on how these two powers navigate this complex and evolving relationship. Section 1. The Canal's Uncertain Future, a Legacy Yet to be Written. The Nicaragua Canal, a dream woven through centuries of ambition, intrigue, and unfulfilled potential, stands at a crossroads. Its future, once a topic of fervent speculation and bold pronouncements, now hangs in the balance, a testament to the complex interplay of economics, geopolitics, and the enduring power of nature itself. The grand pronouncements of a Chinese-backed mega-project, intended to rival the Panama Canal and reshape global trade routes, have faded into a more cautious reality, tempered by financial uncertainties, environmental concerns, and the ever-shifting sands of international relations. The canal's fate, once seemingly tethered to the fortunes of a Chinese billionaire, now appears intertwined with a broader set of forces, including China's own strategic calculations, the evolving dynamics between China and the United States, and the growing awareness of the environmental impact of such massive infrastructure projects. The questions that have long swirled around the Nicaragua Canal remain as relevant as ever, but the answers have become more elusive, shrouded in a veil of uncertainty that only time can truly pierce. Will the Nicaragua Canal, once a symbol of audacious ambition and a potential linchpin in China's global infrastructure network, ever materialize beyond blueprints and preliminary excavations? Or will it remain a tantalizing what-if in the annals of history, a testament to the challenges of realizing even the grandest of visions in a world grappling with economic constraints, environmental imperatives, and the complexities of a multipolar world order? The canal's legacy, it seems, is yet to be written, its chapters still waiting to be filled with the triumphs and setbacks, the unexpected twists and turns that inevitably accompany such ambitious endeavors. The world watches and waits, eager to witness whether this grand dream will fade into obscurity or emerge as a transformative force in the 21st century. Section 2. Navigating a multipolar world: cooperation, competition, and strategic choices. The Nicaragua Canal, beyond its physical dimensions and economic potential, serves as a potent symbol of the evolving global landscape, one in which power is becoming more diffuse, alliances more fluid, and the rules of the game less certain. The canal's fate is inextricably linked to the broader relationship between the United States and China, two superpowers navigating a complex dance of cooperation, competition, and strategic rivalry. For the United States, long accustomed to a position of global preeminence, the rise of China presents a unique and multifaceted challenge. The Nicaragua Canal project, with its potential to enhance China's influence in the Western Hemisphere, has become a focal point for these anxieties, a tangible manifestation of China's growing global reach and its willingness to challenge the existing order. China, for its part, views its growing economic and military might as a natural consequence of its remarkable development trajectory, a testament to the hard work and ingenuity of its people. Its pursuit of strategic infrastructure projects like the Nicaragua Canal is seen as a means of securing its interests, fostering economic development, and promoting a more multipolar world order, one in which China plays a leading role in shaping global norms and institutions. The challenge for both countries, and indeed for the world, is to navigate this transition to a more multipolar system in a way that avoids the pitfalls of great power rivalry and instead fosters a more stable, prosperous, and interconnected world. This will require a commitment to dialogue, a willingness to compromise, and a recognition that cooperation, rather than confrontation, is the only sustainable path forward. Section 3. The enduring power of connection. A world drawn closer, one canal at a time. The story of the Nicaragua Canal, whether it ultimately succeeds or fades into the annals of unrealized ambitions, speaks to a deeper truth about the human experience, our innate desire to connect, to overcome geographical barriers, and to forge pathways for trade, exchange, and understanding. From the ancient Silk Road that linked east and west to the transcontinental railroads that spanned continents, humanity has long sought to bridge divides and draw the world closer together. Canals in particular hold a unique place in this narrative. These feats of engineering, often carved through some of the planet's most challenging terrain, represent triumphs of human ingenuity, perseverance, and the enduring belief in the power of connection. The Suez Canal, the Panama Canal, and countless others stand as testaments to this enduring human impulse, transforming shipping routes, fostering global trade, and reshaping the geopolitical map. The Nicaragua Canal, if completed, would join this pantheon of transformative infrastructure projects, adding its own chapter to the story of human connection. It would serve as a reminder that even in a world often divided by political differences, economic rivalries, and cultural misunderstandings, the desire to connect, to build bridges, and to foster understanding remains a powerful force. The future of the Nicaragua Canal may be uncertain, but the deeper aspirations it represents, the yearning for connection, the pursuit of progress, and the belief in a shared human destiny, remain as relevant as ever. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, let us remember the enduring power of connection, a force that has driven human progress for millennia and holds the key to a more prosperous and interconnected future.